Hello and welcome to this week's Decks. Today we're going to teach you how to create this beautiful letter S with its smoke effects. We're going to jump into InDesign to do that. I know some of you would think, oh, not Photoshop, but yes, InDesign to do that, upping our InDesign skills. We actually saw this S in Harper's Bazaar, and Harper's Bazaar is really well known for having some beautiful type work. Today we're going to take you through how to create this, and you can use it in Instagram, in editorials, anywhere you like. Let's jump in. First of all, we're going to go and open a new document in InDesign, and we're going to look for in mobile to see if we can find the Instagram preset. I can't see one here, but I know it happens to be 1080 by 1080. You could always Google that if you forget that, but you'll get to know these. All right, now we're creating, so press create. Let's place the inspiration. So we go up to place, and I've given you the shortcuts down on the right hand side there as well. So let's put it over the side so we can always refer to it, because we are using it for our inspiration, because we just want to see that we're getting exactly that image. So let's create our S first, and we go to our type tool, which is T, and we're going to jump into the character, and I've already chosen a type, but you can go through and look by filter whether you want a serif or sans serif typeface. The Stilson display typeface in bold is what we used. We weren't exactly sure what typeface they had used, so we did a little bit of a research in it, and we think that it's Dido, which is the same typeface that they use in Vogue. So I always like to make a copy before I create outlines. It means I can refer back to the original. So let's go ahead and outline this text, which makes it a vector. In InDesign, in order to create outlines, the shortcut is Command-Shift-O on a Mac, and I've given you all of the shortcuts for PC here as well. One of the things that I really love about this S is how wide it is and how well the copy sits inside of it. So our Stilson typeface is a little bit skinny, so using its own transform box, I'm going to stretch type. It's a naughty thing to do, but remember, this is an artwork. So let's jump into alignment now and make sure this is aligned to page, and then we're going to center it in the middle. That's our artboard space for Instagram. The next thing that we're going to do is to add the type inside and create a shape from it. So going up to the direct select tool, you just hit A, and we want to click on a few of these points just in the middle section, because we're actually going to copy that shape as opposed to creating our own new shape. So hit Shift as you go around and you're selecting them. And then we want to Command C, which is copy. And then Command, Option, Shift and V will paste it in place. I'm actually going to color that. You can just choose any random color so I can differentiate it from the black. We just want to soften this a little bit, because you can see that the body copy in there has got a lot of curves. So let's zoom in a little bit and have a look at how we do that. We want to bring this one up here. Oops, a little bit of a funky shape, so we'll just use our anchors. Twirl it around. We're just going to adjust a little bit. Sometimes too many points is your enemy, so if you hit the minus button or the negative button and the pen tool, you can see it there as well. You can delete anchor points, and that can make a smoother shape, much easier to work with. If you think about it, a circle only really needs 4 points. So any more than 4 points in a circular shape can be a little bit excessive. But this is an exact circle. So now we're going to go paths and join, and because we've highlighted 2 endpoints together, it's done it as something a little wonky. I'm going to go in actually while I'm zoomed in and use the minus tool and get rid of that, and there we go. That solves our issues. So we want to make sure we always have a closed shape for this type of work. Now I'm going to go back to full screen, which is Command 0. For now we're going to fill it with our text, but we're going to change the shape a little bit later. So let's go to the type tool, hit T. I've tried to show you here by zooming in the little squares with the dots around the cursor. As soon as you fly over into a shape, it turns into a round circle. That's how you know you're ready to type. Can you see that little cursor at the top? We haven't prepared any particular body copy, so we're going to go up to type, fill with placeholder text, which is our lorem ipsum. That's filled it for us. Let's zoom in. Let's get rid of the red. And there's a few adjustments that we need to make, obviously. Let me see. It's going right to the edge, and we really don't want that. So let's focus on the shape first before we start to perfect the type. So hit scale, which is S. Click on the actual text. Hold Option, click in the middle, and you can scale it using the dialog box. And that way you can get it uniform between this one and the other one. So that's at 30%, but we want it at 90% because we just want that little 10% gap. Okay, so now that we've done that, spacebar and W to have a little look. That gives us presentation mode. So we could possibly go a little bit smaller. Let's have a look if we move it around a bit. Let's go into our character. If we jump into paragraph styles, we might create a style because we are going to use this again. Create new style. We're going to call this body type. Then we jump into characters. I think I'll use the same, the Stilson display. I'm going to choose a 9 point, and maybe we should play a little bit with the tracking. So we're going to be tightening a little bit. That looks nice. Now we need to fill it, so we keep going up to type, fill with placeholder. We can see that these don't come all the way to the edges. So one way of doing that is jumping into paragraph and hitting the justify all lines. It depends on what letter you're working with as to how you want it to fill. You can continue to play until you're happy with it, and you're happy as well how the copy sits in there. It's not a hard and fast rule, this kind of thing. It's just trying to get it to look lovely by the eye. Just adjusting those with the direct select tool, the anchors. Let's do the next one. So let's go in again, hold on to the A tool, which is the direct select tool. Hold the shift key when you hit those important points to copy. There we go, that should do it. Command C and Command Option Shift V places it in front. We've changed it to the color like we did before. And then we're going to grab this point and move it down like we did last time. We get our funky shape. We can do what we did last time and we can remove that point. Let's play with the handles a little bit, get it the way we like. There we go. Let's get rid of a couple of these unnecessary points. And it's an open path again. So we're going to go back to the A tool, click that, hold shift and click the other one to join them. And paths join. If you're familiar with Illustrator, you know that you can do Command J to do that. But InDesign doesn't have a shortcut. You can make your own shortcuts in InDesign. You can Google how to do that. But we haven't added any because we wanted to show you that there are no shortcuts to that one. So have a little bit of a play. I'm going to leave it like that. And we will adjust it again after we've done the placeholder text. So I'm just going to adjust that color back. It's actually clear. We're going to put the type tool. And there we go, there's a circle. Click inside and you've got your cursor. So go type, fill with placeholder text. So Command A selects all of that text. And now we want to go back to our paragraph style and click on body type that we created so we get an identical one from above. We want it to fill all the way, so we're going to go ahead and do it again. And then what we're going to do is scale it, click on it and hit S. There we go. Hold the Option key down and click in the middle and up your dialog pops. And we're going to go 90 again because that's what we did last time. So there's a few little gaps there. So let's have a look at going ahead and justifying again like we did last time. And then we can start to play with the shape. Actually, let's fill that text a little bit first. There we go. I'm going to zoom in for you here. I'm going to curve this a bit nicer than what it is there actually. Shift C will give me two handles to work with. Grab that. I might delete that one because that, like I was saying to you before, those get in the way. There we go, much nicer. Back to the A, grab the handle. So you're jogging between the two, the A and the negative if you've got a lot of points, and that's easier than jumping up to the tool palette every time. We'll just keep going until we're satisfied with the shape. There we go, clicked out. Here we go. So that's how we place the shape type. Now we're going to add the smoke, the exciting bit. So in the brief, we've actually put a link to the smoke that we're using. If you go into Photoshop, this is the link that we've given you in the brief. One of the issues with it is it's back to front to what we need. So we want black smoke and a white background. So that's easy. So make sure you select the top layer and go to Adjustments and Invert. Easy. There you go. That's all you need to do to change that to black. Now we're going to go back to Layers. You can see that when I toggle those on and off, you get different layers. So I've gone through and saved each one of those as a different layer. So we can actually take each of those layers, because we've exported them, and place them. Now that we're back in InDesign, one of the issues that we have is that little gap. Remember that 10% that we had when we scaled? Our smoke will show through that because it's actually transparent. So we don't want that. So one of the ways that we can do that is we can create a shape behind all of this artwork and in front of the smoke, and it will mask the smoke. Otherwise it would be a little bit difficult to adjust the smoke. So what I'm going to do is highlight the S, copy it and paste it in place. Let's give it a bit of a color. There you go. We can see what it is. We know who's who's now. Now we want to delete some of these points. I'm going to use the pen tool negative again. Seems to be the favorite of the day. We press the negative button and we go and we delete some of these points, and now we're creating a shape that will help us make sure that the smoke in the background doesn't come through. So if you look over there, there's a bit of smoke coming through. So if we close that all off, it means that the smoke is going to be closed off from that little section. So let's go to the A tool, grab that point, make sure only that's highlighted and move it a little bit, and then use your anchors just to correct that. Jump back into the negative 2 and we do the same thing on the opposite side. And that one. And let's see what this one looks like if we adjust it a little bit. We still want the smoke to be able to come through close to the shape. Let's have a look at that. So that's the shape that the background won't be able to interfere with. And now we're going to make it the same as our background color, which is white. So Command Shift back bar will send it back. So anything that you have in the background, this color for example, it can't show through. That's the purpose of that shape. Okay, let's get rid of that. So let's add in our smoke now. So it's going to be a little bit of fiddling around. So let's get our rectangle frame tool and create a little frame there. Command D, which is place, add in the smoke that you've got saved. So they're all the different layers that we exported to different PSD files. So Command negative will show you how big that file is. Can you see the frame there? So jump in the A tool, so hold Command and Shift and scale it. Let's have a look. Command 0 will take us back to 100%. So the smoke must be a little bit out of the box. Here we go. If you don't see it, don't panic. It's somewhere in there. And we just want to adjust it so that it looks good to the eye. So let's just have a play and turn it around a bit. Adjusting the size, getting the right shape. And that was in the front, you could see. So we need to say Command Shift and back, and that pushes the smoke to the very back. In the same way that you would layer your layers. So that looks a little bit cut off. So let's expand that frame tool a bit. We need quite a few more different areas of smoke. So let's keep moving through with the frame tool. Command D. Yep, Command D, and we'll put the smoke in. There we go, we've got that big rectangle frame again. And you just go through and do the same thing with a bit of trial and error, changing the different positions, trying different smokes, transforming from vertical to horizontal, rotating around until you get to something that you're really happy with. Just keep going through there. It takes quite a few adjustments to get it quite right. That's why I sped it up for you, because that was a bit of a process. That looks good. After a few adjustments with the smoke and copying different layers and creating different shapes with them, now we're ready to save it and post it to Instagram. So let's go up to export and we'll pop it into our folder, keeping things nice and organized, as I'm sure you all do. Smoke Insta. Here we go. I like the maximum. 150 or 72 for Insta is fine, but you never know what you want to use it for later down the track as well. So you could always do 2 files if you wanted to save a high-res file, but you'll always have your InDesign file to go back. Now we've got our JPEG and we've created a little mock-up with that. We've provided you a link to the Instagram mock-up. If you've got an artwork that you've created for yourself, we'd love for you to share that with us at thegraphicdesignschool.com/Dex. That's DEX. Under the video, there's a little spot to upload. We hope you've enjoyed that. Thank you so much.